So now we will discuss another problem or another situation that we will solve by using work energy theorem. So suppose that I have a particle, let's say a small ball of mass m that is shoot from the ground with an upward velocity of v naught, and at any general point, that is at any general point x1, the at any general point x1, the velocity of the particle at that point will be v1. So if I start the motion from x is equal to x naught, and at any instant of at any instant, let's say at x is equal to x1, the velocity of the particle is v1, and initially at x is equal to 0, x naught, velocity of the particle is v naught. So initially initially at x is equal to x naught, the velocity of the particle is v naught, and finally at x is equal to x1, velocity of the particle is v1. So if I now apply work energy theorem, that is change in the kinetic energy is equal to the work done. So what is the force that is doing work here? So I have thrown a body upward in a uniform gravitational field. The only force that is acting on the body is in the downward direction, that is the weight of the body, Wm. So mg is the weight, is the only force acting on the body. So there's only one force that is acting on the body, that is the weight of the body. So if I now apply work energy theorem, I'll see that my kinetic energy final is equal to half m v1 square, and similarly my kinetic energy initial is half m v naught square. So if I calculate the change in the kinetic energy, it will be half m v1 square minus half m v naught square. So now let us consider the right hand side. The only force that is acting on the body is mg in the downwards direction, and the particle is moving from x is equal to x naught to x is equal to x1. So at any instant of time, let's say at any point, the weight of the body is downward and the body is trying to move upward. So the force is in downward direction, that is the weight is in the downward direction, and the motion is in upward direction. So the displacement is in upward direction. So these two quantities are making an angle of 180 degree. So my work will be equal to mg dx, that is the small displacement dx that it covered. So cos 180 degree. So it will be mg dx, and my body is moving from x is equal to x naught to x is equal to x1. So if I now substitute my value over here in the work energy theorem, I'll get half m v1 square minus v naught square is equal to minus mg dx, x is equal to x naught to x is equal to x1. So over here we see that our force is position independent. So that means our force doesn't depend on the distance. So my integration will be mg dx, x is equal to x naught to x is equal to x1. So this will be mg x1 minus x naught, which is equal to half m v1 square minus v naught square. I can cancel the mass on the both side. So I'll get half v1 square is equal to half v naught square minus g minus g x1 minus x naught. So suppose that our body reaches the highest point, that x is equal to x1 is the highest point. So at that point our velocity v1 will be equal to 0. So after that the body will move downward. So let us put v is equal to 0 over here. So this will be 0 and this will be half v naught square minus g x1 is the highest point. Let us call this point h. From the height, from the distance, that is x1 minus x0 is equal to h. So if my highest point is in the upward direction, so I can write 2gh is equal to v naught square. So this is my expression for the velocity that I will have when the body is moving in the upward direction in the uniform gravitational field. So the velocity at any point, at this point, at this point, this point. So velocity depends on the distance h. So suppose that my body was at this point, say x is equal to some x2, then my velocity at that point will be 2gx2 is equal to v2 square. And sorry, that is if I take the square root on both sides, then v2 will be equal to under root 2gx2. So this is how we will approach. So this is a very simple example to see how we can apply work energy theorem. So let us now move to the next part. So let us now move forward and discuss the work done by a force in general. So in the previous lecture we studied that uh, work done work done by a force F is given by integration of F dot dr along the path. So to calculate the work done by any force F, we need to perform this integration over the path that a particle takes. So let us now consider spring force and see what is the work done by the spring when we compress it or extend it. So suppose I have a block of mass m, and this is the initial position of our string or spring. So this is the natural length of the spring. The natural length of the spring is L naught. So the natural length means that when the spring is neither extended nor compressed. So this is the initial position of the block of mass m when it is neither compressed nor extended. So let us now suppose that I elongate this spring by a displacement x1. So if I extend this string or elongate this spring by x1, then the work done, or sorry, the force that will act on the block will be in the minus x-axis. So when I elongate the spring by a displacement x1, then the spring will try to push it back to its natural position, that is towards the negative x-axis. So the restoring force that will act on the block of mass m will be in this direction. So if restoring is the force that will act on the block due to the elongation of the spring, and the direction of this force will be in the negative x-axis, and the displacement is in the positive x-axis. So positive x-axis, so in this direction we will have elongation or the displacement of the block. So the displacement of the block is in the positive x direction, and the restoring force is in the negative x-axis. So let us write F, that is the force, is in the minus. So from the Newton laws of motion, we saw that the restoring force on the body is proportional to the displacement, and the restoring force is given by minus kx1, sorry, minus kx, that is at any general point, that is at any instant of time, let's say at this point or this point or this point, the restoring force is dependent on the displacement from its natural position. So x is displacement, uh, x is general displacement from its natural natural position. So this is at any instant when the block is at a distance x, then the restoring force that is felt by the block is in the opposite direction, that is in the minus I cap. So this is our restoring force, which is given by F minus kx I cap. So our restoring force is in the negative x-axis, and the displacement dx, or the small displacement dx by which the block moves, is in the positive axis. So if I now calculate the work done by the force or the spring force, then W is equal to F dot dr vector. So F is equal to minus kx I cap minus k cap I cap dot dx I cap. So I have to take the dot product of these two quantities, and the integration will be performed from 0 to x1. So the initial point where the block was when it is neither compressed or not elongated was equal to 0, and the distance or the displacement of the block when it was elongated was x1. So I cap dot I cap is equal to 1, because I cap is a unit vector and I cap is also the unit vector, and the theta angle between them is 0 degree. So minus kx dx from 0 to x1. So this is equal to minus kx square by 2 from 0 to x1, and if I substitute the limit, this is equal to minus kx1 square by 2. So this is our answer. So if I elongate the string by this much length, that is x1, then the work done by the spring force is equal to minus kx1 square by 2. So this quantity W spring is the work done by the spring force. So this is the work done by the spring force, and if I now if I have to if I have to elongate the spring by x1, then the work done by me or by the external force that I will apply that will elongate the string will be work done by me to elongate the string. So I should write it separately. So the work done by me to elongate the spring should be negative of this work done by the spring force. So if I now substitute the value, this will be positive kx1 squared by 2. So the work done by the spring force is negative. That is, when I elongate the mass spring system, then the system is gaining energy. The spring force is gaining energy. So that's why it has a minus sign. But when I have to do a work to elongate the spring, then the work done is the negative of the spring force. That is, I have to supply the energy to the spring to elongate it to the displacement of x1. So the point to be noted, if I have to do work on the spring, then it will be negative of the work done by the spring force. Okay, so let us say if I extend this spring from x1 to x2, then the answer will be minus kx squared by 2 from x1 to x2. So that will be equal to minus k by 2 x2 square minus x1 square. So you see how the work done by the spring force is just depending on the initial and the final point. So the work done by the spring force is only depending on the final and the initial point. So you see, if I extend the spring from x1 to x3, then my answer will change to x3 square minus x1 square. So as I change the distance or change the point, the distance, this work done only depends on the final and the initial point. It doesn't depend on the path that the springs take. So that's one thing that's one thing to notice. Similarly, we can see from the similarly, if we consider our gravitational force, in case of gravitational force, so let us now see gravitational force. So if I throw an object upwards on the earth's surface, so if this is my earth's surface, and if I throw a body and and the gravity is acting in the downward direction, then the work done by the gravity will be equal to, so work done by the gravity force is equal to minus mg j cap, and the displacement is in the x direct in the and the displacement is in the positive y axis, so dy j cap, so this will be equal to minus dy, and let us say I start the motion of the body from y equal to 0 to y equal to 1. So that will be equal to minus mg from that will be y, and the integration will change from 0 to y1. So this will be equal to minus mg y1. So the work done by the gravitational force is equal to minus mg y1. Similarly, if my point changed from y1 to y2, let's say from any point y1 to y2, then the work done by the gravity in that instant will be equal to minus mg y2 minus y1. So you see that in case of gravitational force, gravitational force and the spring force, the work done depends on the final and the initial point, and not on the path taken. So when we discussed spring force, then we saw that if I change my position from 0 to x1, my answer was half kx1 square negative. And if I change from x1 to x2, then my answer was minus k half k x2 square minus x1 square. Similarly, over in the gravitation, that is, if a ball is thrown upward, and the effect of a gravitation force, my work done also depends on the final and the initial point. It doesn't depend on the path taken. So consider this, take this thing in mind, and we will then talk about conservative forces. So then we will talk about conservative forces. Conservative forces. So like gravity and gravity and spring force are our conservative forces. Let us now focus our discussion on kinetic energy and potential energy. So kinetic energy is the energy associated with a moving particle. Only associated with the moving particle. So if I have a body that is moving with some velocity, then the energy associated with that particle will be kinetic energy. So let us say I have a ball that is moving with some velocity v, then the momentum corresponding to this particle is mv vector, which is equal to p vector. Then I can calculate my kinetic energy, and it's given by p dot p upon 2m. In terms of the momentum, I can define my kinetic energy like this, or in case of velocity, I can calculate my kinetic energy in terms of velocity, kind of like this, the dot product between the velocities. So this is my definition for the kinetic energy. So kinetic energy is the energy that is associated with a moving particle, and I can define kinetic energy in terms of momentum and in terms of pure velocity, and it's a scalar quantity. So let us now discuss potential energy. So to discuss potential energy, let us first now discuss conservative force. Uh, Potential energy. So potential energy is the energy that is due to the configuration of the system or position of the body. So to discuss potential energy, we will first discuss conservative forces. Conservative forces. So in the previous lecture, we discussed about gravitational the work done due to the gravitational pull of the earth, that is the weight of the body, and due to the spring forces. So in case of spring, if my spring was relaxed and suddenly if I elongate it by a displacement x1, then my work done due to the spring is given by minus half k x1 square minus 0, that is the initial point. And suppose that I stretch my spring from x1 to some other point x2. In that case, my work done by the spring is given by half k x2 square minus x1 square. So this is the work done due to the spring force. So I see that my work done only depends on the final position and the initial position. So conservative forces are the forces in which work done depends on the final and the initial position. Okay, so as we can see from the spring force, the work done by the spring force depends on the final position and the initial position. Now let us consider gravity. So let us suppose I am throwing a body upward under the force of gravity, and the force of gravity is acting in the downward direction. So this is mg minus j cap. So gravity is acting downward. Then the work done by the gravity was given by minus mg y2 minus y1. So y2 is the final point. Let us say if I want to calculate the work done by the gravity from y1 to y2, then this is the formula for my work done due to gravity. And from this also we can see that the work done depends only on the final and the initial position. So the work done if only depends on the final and initial position, then the force that is responsible in these kind of work is conservative forces. So work done in case of conservative forces doesn't depend on the part taken. So for example, I have 2 point A and B, and this is RA, and this is RB, RA vector, and this is RB vector. So these are the 2 points. And if I want to calculate the work done by a conservative force from taking a particle from A to B, so my work done will only depend on RB on the point A and B, that is RA and RB. It will not depend on the path taken. Suppose if I take this path, then my work done will not change. And suppose if I take a straight path, then also my work done will be same. And if I take this path, then also my work done will be same. So in case of a conservative force, it doesn't depend if I take path A, path B or path C. In all these three cases, my work done will be same in case of conservative forces. So in case of conservative force, my work done doesn't depend on the path taken, it depends on the initial and the final point. So by the help of conservative force, I can define the function. So f dot dr vector integration is equal to minus uf rf minus ui ri. Okay, this is the general form for the conservative force that we have seen up until now. So in case of spring force, this was the form of our work done, and in case of gravitation, this was the form of our work done too. So let us now, so to make it clear to you once again, suppose my force was spring force, then my work done to take a particle from x1 to x2 was half k x2 square minus x1 square, and this is minus half k x2 square minus plus half k x1 square. So half k x2 square is my uf and half k x1 square was my ui. So I can define a function u that is some work done, or so this u has a special name. It is the potential energy of the system. So from work energy theorem we know that work done is also equal to the change in the kinetic energy. So if this is equal to minus uf and this is ui, if I take mm, uf to the left side, then I'll get kf final uf final is equal to ki plus ui. So in case of my conservative forces, my this sum remains constant. So this u is my potential energy, shell energy. So it is an energy that is due to the configuration or the position of the particle at an instant. So in case of conservative force, I see that the summation of my kinetic energy final plus plus potential energy final is equal to kinetic energy initial plus potential energy initial. So my mechanical energy is conserved. So my mechanical energy is conserved in case of conservative conservative forces. So if my system is conservative, then my mechanical energy is conserved. So this this is a very important law that we will use in solving problems. And we can also see that minus f dot dr vector is equal to minus uf minus ui. Okay, so then I can define my minus f dot dr vector is equal to uf minus ui. So this is my potential energy of the system. So suppose that if I elongate a spring by, let's say I elongate a spring by x1, if I elongate this spring by x1, then the potential energy that is stored in the spring is half k x1 square. Okay, so the potential energy that is stored in the spring when I elongate is half k x1 square, and we can see from the formula that the work done by the spring force was minus half k x1 square minus 0. And if I take work done, this is work done. So work done in case of my spring force was equal to minus half k x1 square. So if I, so my f dot dr, that is the work done, the negative of the work done of the spring force is equal to the potential energy of the spring. So when I elongate the spring by x1, then this much of energy is stored in the spring. And suppose if I compress the spring by x1, then also my energy that is stored in the spring is half k x1 square. But what if I have gravitational, I have a particle that is moving vertically upward in case in a work moving upward against the gravity. So in that case, my work done by the gravity was minus mg y for any from any initial point 0 to a general point y. So my negative of w g was equal is equal to now the potential energy of the system. So when I raise a ball at a height y, then the energy that is stored in the ball is now mgy. So mgy is the potential energy of the system. So potential energy is the energy that is stored in a body due to its configuration or position. So for a conservative force, we can define our F is equal to minus F is equal to dV by dr. So this is only valid for conservative force. Okay, so in case of conservative force, I can define my force as a function of some u. Okay, so let us now study this expression in more detail. So I said previously that in case of a conservative force, I can define my force as some function of derivative of some function of u. So which is equal to du by dr. So if I now take the dr to this side, which is equal to du. So if I integrate from initial to the final point, then f dot dr initial to the final is equal to uf minus ui, and f dot dr from I to f is now equal to minus of uf minus ui. So we have arrived at the same expression once again, that work done by the conservative forces is equal to some function of negative of some function of u. So this is the same law. So that is why in case of conservative force we have this expression. So suppose I have a spring that has a initial or the natural length L naught, and if I elongate this spring by x1, that is if I elongate this spring by x1, then the potential energy that is stored in the spring will be half kx1 square. So U is the potential energy that is now stored in the spring, and if I now take minus du by dx, I will get minus of half k. If I elongate the spring by say x, sorry, not x1 by x, then x square derivative is now 2x. So f is now equal to minus kx. So in if my potential energy is half kx squared, then the restoring force that is acting on the block is minus kx, that I have found by taking the derivative of the potential energy. So now consider another example. Say if a ball is at a certain height y, then u is equal to mg y. So this is the if a ball it has a certain height y, then the potential energy that is stored in the block ball is now mgy. So if I now perform du by dy of negative du by dy, I'll get mg. So F is now equal to mg. So the force that is acting on the body is the weight of the body in the downward direction. So you have to just remember that in case this formula, this F is equal to minus du by dr, is only valid for conservative system, and the system is said to be conservative if the work done only depends on the final and the initial point. Okay, so if the work done depends on the final and initial point, but not on the part taken, then my system has a conservative force in it. Then I can write my force some function of the some function of the derivative of potential. And also in case of conservative system, my initial and the final mechanical energy are same. So this completes our discussion on conservative system and potential energy.